Don't have to go to work.
Some people need the family name there as well.
That'd be
family
good.
am I a part of today?
That'd be good.
Were you a fan of MTV back in the day?
Well, yeah, of course, because it was a great big sort of pipeline of treacle into your house, but just you'd watch anything that was on there because it was, you'd never seen anything like that.
We call it the wallpaper of people's existence. It was there all the time. Now, you had Top of the Pops before MTV, which is why the Brit artists were so much further ahead when MTV started in '81. That's why we had Bowie and Billy Idol and bands from across the ocean, from U2, and so you guys were much more into the visual appeal of things in general since the Beatles days, really.
But it was an early, it's kind of early content providing, isn't it? So now everybody's content providing. You don't have to be in a band or an artist or anything. Everybody's doing it, but nobody's seen anything like that then.
And unless you get it absolutely right, whether it be an obscure video or funny or something remarkably good, it's so easy to be bland. And we were all right, we weren't awful at making videos, but it wasn't our thing. We didn't have anybody within the band with much of an artistic view on how to make an MTV video. You just trusted the director. But Kevin, the original guitarist of Cutting Crew, he hated the whole nonsense, the whole notion of it. He found it invasive, he found it risky, because you sing this song, let's talk about it, I Just Died in Your Arms. And that can mean anything to anybody in many ways. And if you get that tone wrong, it stamps it forever, doesn't it? What you see on that little 4-minute clip. And Lou Graham's going to be on the boat, fairly soon, and one of the greatest singers ever, I believe, of some of the greatest songs ever. And a good mate back in those days. But personally, I think the video for "I Want to Know What Love Is."
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, well,
I think
he
it's one of
said
the greatest
nonsense,
songs.
by the way. He said,
Nonsense, yeah.
But it's a very beautiful bit of work.
Yes, it is, but for me, I don't want to see that, If I don't want anything, I just want to hear the record. So it's an old argument, isn't it?
Well, I'm going to argue with you now because it's serious. That exact video is a visual representation of what I was talking about with songwriting. So the meaning of the video is so abstract.
Mm-hmm.
You could say it's nonsense, but I remember seeing that and it made me feel a certain way. I didn't know why, and it's not a literal translation of the song or the lyrics or anything, So, and that's an advantage in some ways.
Absolutely, it doesn't have to be literal. I think it was more just a general comment that personally it didn't help me enjoy the song more. Whereas Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, classically does, or I don't know, U2 on some desert island or something, whatever. Yeah.
well, as an expert in video music, why don't you guys let me handle this?
I was going to ask
Because I've got an overview on this thing. You won't believe.
I did actually want to come back to what you said before, which is what exactly was it about the Die in Your Arms video that made MTV think this is going to kill the song?
I don't think it really mattered at that point. You guys came into it, I forget when that came out, 1980.
I know that, 87.
87. So we've been kind of steamrolling along for 5 or 6 years. Everybody was trying to reinvent the video wheel, by the way. By that point, 3 or 4 years into it, you had Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer. You started out with Shock the Monkey, which is one of my favorites. Oh, yeah. One of my favorite videos was early Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime, which was a simple video, but it's David Byrne doing something kooky. So it's all over the map. People thought video was going to kill the radio star, but it didn't. I maintained that if the song was good, the video could be mediocre, so long as it wasn't awful. And even an awful video didn't kill your enjoyment of the song.
Well, there's a good example. Video killed the radio star. It's a great song.
Yeah.
Video is appalling.
Well, the one was, but that was back in the early days of terrible, special effects and, cheesy cellophane.
It's like an episode of Doctor Who from 1973.
I would maintain that David Bowie's Ashes to Ashes was simple, weird, kind of matte. I was in fashion, by the way. That was my. Everybody know that because I sing it every year.
Still carrying it.
We are the Beat Squad and we're coming to town, beep beep. So that was a cheesy video. It was David Bowie. So I think if the song is great, it can absolutely carry a Who Cares video. All a band needed to be was on MTV. If it wasn't the best video ever and didn't have $1 million production, some of the best videos were when hip hop and rap started to appear on MTV, mainly MTV Raps. They had $7,000 to do one with a Super 8 home camera. But the song and the edge and the creative was all mixed in there. When it didn't work for me is when the video was so far from any connection to the music and the lyrics at all. People like Tom Petty hated doing videos because he was a rocker and he didn't like posing. He didn't like lip syncing. So they did some very clever, funny Alice in Wonderland type of videos. Don't come around here no more. For the bands like Ultravox and let's call the poster boys Duran Duran, I mean, they love being pretty on camera.
It worked for them.
They're not on the boat, we don't like them.
Exactly.
No, you're not here. You're not here. We talk about it. But you weren't. I don't think the audience felt you and your video was competing with their new song in 1987, whatever that was, Notorious.
Notorious.
See, we're in sync, baby. I said it first. Because I love that song so much. I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight. I just think that you could have sat in a chair. And remember early Rod Stewart videos, which we had about 10 of? We had 100 videos in the MTV library that they had started. So we had Charlie freaking Daniels, Love Charlie. He was on MTV.
Why?
We had 18 Rod Stewart videos that were literal translations. Maybe 10. Where he would sing, I'm saying I love you so much, standing in the rain by the lamppost, loving you, or whatever. And it was a little translation of that. But it was Rod Stewart. So as it became more sophisticated. But it was a burden on the artists who didn't care for that part of the business. But for God's sakes, imagine being a part of the business nowadays. And all of the things you've got to bring to the table. Mainly you don't get signed to a record deal unless you have 1 million TikTok hits. Nobody gets signed as a young artist. So to that point, would you like to be starting your career in the present environment of pop music nowadays?
God, no. I mean, but I mean, a lot of sort of modern philosophical thinkers, you know, would say, I've read this a few times, that actually music will die out, you know, naturally. We've reached peak music, you know, and I think that's ridiculous myself. But no, I really do. I think it's a serious academic view. People are like, well, kids don't care about music anymore, you know. But yeah, they don't in the same way that the generation before did. You know, they use it as a commodity in a way that it was a life expression for us, you know, 3 generations ago.
Well, that's like saying the oceans are rising. That's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, we're still flat, aren't we?
I had to be very low key with that comment.
What happens when we get to the end, though, with this cruise ship? Is it just like that's why we have to turn around?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, have you looked out?
You get past the bottom there.
Yeah. Have you looked out at the horizon lately?
Fuck all.
It ends right out there. The horizon.
Of course it does.
We're dipping off at Cabo.
You stupid.
I don't know how to handle that. Music's going to die out one day. We're listening to Beethoven 400 or 500 years, you know, down the pike. So
well, precisely. But that's sort of the point. Is that, you know, that at that time as well, it was the height of art, and you could only see it if you went, you know, if you bought the music, you know.
Right.
You know, later. But if you went somewhere to a temple of, you know, art, theatre, thank God.
But to the
only way of accessing that music, or you learn to play yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Apart from the social media side of it, which is, you know, gallopingly crucial to every band, whether it be old farts like me or any young new band, the hardest bit I found to adjust to was when, you know, back in the 70s, 80s, you'd write a song and you'd make a demo. and you'd do your best with your mates in the bedroom to get this thing together, and I could play you the demo for I Just Died in Your Arms, I've Been Alone For. I'm very proud of them.
Do you still have that tape somewhere?
It's fantastic. Well, I think it's a fantastic memory, but it got across the gist of the song, the lyric, the melody, what the kind of feel we wanted. Then you took it to a record company, you sat in their office where the guy was on the, it would get to the chorus, and you're going, this is the bit, you go, hang on a minute. Hey John, and I'm going, this is the fucking bit, this is the bit. So they would listen to it, you'd get signed, then you'd find a producer, and all these lovely, very talented men, that's their job, to bring it to its next stage. Now, I think I'm right in saying, you more or less have to deliver it. So you've done all that work as well. You've got to find your own production. It is easier, inverted commas, to do it at home because of technology, but you're not finding our Terry Brown that we found or whatever. So I find that one of the hardest bits that why should I deliver the finished record? I'm a songwriter and a singer. That's what I think.
Well, nowadays you find a DJ, you find a producer with a MacBook Pro and Pro Tools and some hits, and they build a song for which you might provide some sort of auto-tuned vocal. Now that's a broad stroke of pop music. There's tons of pop music that I love nowadays. I know you sang an Arcade Fire song last night. Hardly young pop people, but what a great version, by the way, of that song. I love that song anyway. And, I have younger kids, so I listen to new music and pop music because I think music is ever growing. We didn't all stop listening to music. We're here to celebrate this particular decade. I do thank God again that we're not having to navigate the business nowadays, because it is totally different. I think people's flash in the pan fame is less than 15 seconds. If they hit it big, then they're big. There's the haves and the have-nots these days. Back in your time, you were able to be a big band, a nobody band, and right in the middle, journeyman band. I've always felt you were a journeyman group because you lasted and you stood the test of time, and here you are. People still love you.
And still making records. Yes. That's the thing. That's the statement you make. We're good friends with Mitch. We're good friends with Nick Kershaw. People that are fantastic writers who are still making. Nick Kershaw's last album is genius. Probably sold 2,000 copies.
Right.
Don't quote me on that. And he's happy with that. He's like, okay, we make these things. Why do we stop making music just because nobody's buying it much anymore? You still have to do that. That's why that's purpose. I love singing. I love being here doing this, but I love writing still, and I'll never stop writing.
Well, I think people are, and not that we're amazed or not that we're surprised by why do you still make new music. I think the answer is it's your oxygen. It's what you damn do. I'm here to abuse people on cruise ships. I'll do that for the rest of my life.
Abuse?
Let's just rewind that. Or maybe it's true, I don't know. We've got the abuse.
But I think Tears for Fears' Tipping Point that came out a year and a half ago was an excellent body of work. Billy Idol put out a great album. Here's
Billy Idol,
Oh yeah, I love that one. So Cage was good, and that was just an EP. But I think that this is the old, if only you knew when you were younger what you know now. Weirdly, I'm a better interviewer now than I was on MTV back in the day, because one, I don't care, and two, I love it more. Meaning I love the content of speaking to artists and doing interviews more. I used to just care about how my mullet looked on MTV back in the day. But as an artist, you were trying to get a record. And
You had a good mullet.
so I think the maturity of artists that are still writing nowadays, ones that are playing and helping to create that new music, is so much more satisfying, that it has a very limited distribution outlet nowadays, and it's very different. That's the whole deal. But you don't do it just for the money.
But you keep writing and keep doing it. You still have something to say, or even if you don't have something to say, just don't stop.
Well, I also think it
sounds like a good title.
Don't stop. There you go.
Don't Stop Me Now. That was Queen. Okay. Don't Stop Me Now. I think it imbues your live performance with an extra edge of excitement, even if you sprinkle in a few new songs.
Oh yeah.
I think people know you're still active and creating, and that's invigorating to me.
Well, Living Colour, who, if anybody saw them yesterday down by the pool, what a show! Oh my God, they just get better. It's ridiculous. But like Corey said, you know, we're just going to play a load of songs that you don't know except for one. You know, which, I mean, a lot of bands are in that position, and it shouldn't matter. You know, either it's a great visual audio experience, and the guy jumps in the pool. What a star!
He is that.
Or it's not a great show, you know, and then you know, maybe if you had a hit in the 80s, great. But if you're not got a great show, then it's not going to.
Isn't it fun? And I think that the fans are we're the ones who are. It's good for us that live, as hard as it is on the band, especially as we're all maturing, to tour. It's such a benefit for the audience, for the fans, to be able to go back out again. I mean, bands are making more money over the past decade than 90s, 2000s after the heyday of the 80s, because it's great again to see bands live, and it's not just dependent on that one product that's for sale somewhere. Now, it means you got to get out, and it means you're not creating something that has legs, and you go to the mailbox for the royalty checks, but it is, for the fans, I think, a real benefit that it's back to playing a song in front of people. It's back to the troubadour aspect of music.
And I hate the expression meet and greet, because it often implies you pay for meet and greet, you know, which some of the big...
Oh, and you pay for you too, right?
So, but that's part of it now, and that's a lovely part of it. It's hard work. You've just done a 2-hour show, and you're all there to meet afterwards, and it's the beauty of it. It's, you know, I'm sweating and tired and everything, but it's part of the show now. Whereas back when we were having hit records, you know, you were closeted away, so you just no autographs, you know.
Yes.
It's part of it, and why shouldn't it be?
Yes.
So if that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to speak for you, but I just think connecting people who listen to your music with their faces and maybe a handshake is gratifying. I mean,
A tip though is don't get too much into writing the person's name. Try touring Germany.
Hello, my name is Knut Frauenbuschen. Knut Frauenbuschen? How do you spell Knut Frauenbuschen?
And the next thing that happens is Nick looks straight at me and goes, "You do this one."
I get Franz, he gets Hildegard.
That is with 3 A's, yeah.
and when you're signing that T-shirt they've had for 30 years, you know, oh crap, oh, dang, what was?
Oh, I've done that on a very rare record.
This is my most prized shirt. I hate you in your band.
Try to turn an E into an A.
You suck. I don't know what the time is, but I think somebody's probably got a question. I got 8 million more. We could keep on going, but I want to see if anybody. Okay, yeah, let's go. Would you like to take some questions? I know you, my dear. Every year, let's go. Let's have it. It's always a good question. No pressure.
Straight on the 2019 cruise, I think. But anyway, I'd like to ask the artist what your memory is about hearing yourself on the radio the first time, and what you thought was the first check.
First time on the radio hearing themselves, and the second question I didn't hear.
What did you buy with the first check?
Buy with the first paycheck. What would you buy with the first paycheck? Sweet. I can tell you.
Wow!
We blew it hard.
And now I know where to go.
Cabin 7134. Cabin 7134.
You ring, we bring.
Alpha, Alpha, Alpha. Room Hunter. The old man has done it again.
What does that? What is that code? Alpha, Alpha.
Guessing. I don't know if they want us to talk about
It's
it.
got to be, hasn't it? We'll find it on Google. But you'll have to sign up for the internet package.
To answer your question, the press hated us in Britain because we came from nowhere. You know, we weren't a real band, and the music press hate that because we'd all been in bands all our lives before then. I think I was nearly 27 when I had the hit, and for 9 years I've been a professional failed musician, played every shithole, you know,
Shithole, that word was.
Dr. McBee, Scheiße Holler.
Thank you, Hildegard.
3 A's.
And that's nothing special, that's what we do. So they hated us because we had the audacity to come from nowhere and have an overnight success. Ha ha ha. So when finally I got to hear that record out, this is a true story, I was driving to Cornwall, which is way down in the west of England from where I live, probably a 300-mile journey, and it was on at 10 o'clock in the morning, it was on at midday, and it was on about 3 o'clock, and I was for the first time, I get a bit...
Nice.
Well, I was with my brother, and he's not here anymore.
He was driving with you, your brother?
Yeah, he looked at me and he said, I think this is going to happen.
He could not be here with more people who love him in that story.
And I blew it hard on cocaine. No, I probably had a fish meal.
Oh my God.
Sorry about that. This is my brother's trio.
Yeah. That's lovely. What a connection. I mean, these people, I guarantee you, will shed a few tears for things that they experienced during this week with the song, perhaps, because it connects to a memory that you have, and that's very strong for you. I love that.
But it was a very, very exciting time after all those years of nothing, of all these apparently good records I'd made before, the best song I've ever written, and suddenly, and then it took off all around the world, and then the United States made it even bigger, and you know, we had 3 or 4 years, we went around the world 3 or 4 times, yeah.
After you paid the record company back then, you did get some kind of a check, right? Did you have an extravagance early on as a young artist who just made it? And did it take MTV, by the way?
I got a car that didn't break down, you know.
Yeah. Surprised you made that whole journey.
And whereas now the bands, you know, they get the Spotify royalties, which are such small royalties, it would probably just, you know, have a hit record and buy the petrol for the van, you know. If that, yeah. Anyway, let's have some more questions. I like these.
Actually, I have a first check thing as well, just to add to that. So the first big sort of recording I did was for a record company called Hollywood Records, who were a subsidiary of Sony, I think, at the time. And I got paid what was, you know, a sizable amount for my eyes. I was like, oh my God, it's probably 50 quid or something. But the check that they sent me to cash had Mickey Mouse on it. That, honestly, and at the time I had a post office account in the UK, and you had to take the check in, and I slid it under the counter, and the guy just went, Mickey Mouse check? But I kind of wish I hadn't cashed it, because it was such a crazy thing, like a Mickey Mouse. It was brilliant, you know. Walt Disney.
But you had back rent to pay, so you had to cash it.
Well, absolutely.
I'd throw Mickey under the bus anytime I did.
He's not my favourite.
Yeah,
he was never my favourite. Yeah.
You know, funny, I'll get to your question in a second, but the UK artists quite often found more success early with America, and maybe via MTV, than their native country loved them. You know, sometimes you did release albums that we'd never heard. But a lot of times I've always come across a band that, you know, that didn't hit at all in the UK, but it was a #1 hit here in the US. You pointing to him, or? But yeah, I can't remember though if I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight was a big UK hit.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So you heard it on the radio and then it made its way over. Was there a time lag between it was on the radio, then it showed up on MTV? Because it didn't become a hit in the US if it didn't show up on MTV.
You're asking the wrong people.
Yeah.
We know the year.
That was, like I said, with Branson. We had the British hit, we had the Japanese hit, it was #1 in about 15 countries, and he went, and then he made a new video and released it in America.
Right, but he was paying attention to Duran Duran at the time, too.
I did want to say, you're talking about the Mickey Mouse check, about keeping it forever in